Hello and welcome. This is My Life on Paper. I am Brianna and I am participating in Series 11 with Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches. This sketch is by Deborah Norton Burton. And here are pictures of myself and my daughter and my husband golfing. Jillian's fiance Nick was also there. Nick, I apologize. I don't have a picture of you. So I'm just showing you the pictures. And I didn't follow the sketch exactly, but you can see how I got inspiration from it. I have this terribly old grass paper that I'm going to use, and then I cut out this golf ball with my Cricut Joy. And I cut it as big as I could to kind of give that curve of the sketch there. And it's there 4.5 inches long. So it ended up being longer than I thought. So this mat is going to be bigger than the sketch. It's going to be 5 by 7 so that it can cover most of that golf ball on the side there. And you're going to see there's going to be a little gap, which is okay because I know I'm going to use like a sticker or something up in that corner to cover that gap. So here are my stickers. They're by Karen Foster, and I'm just going to cut them up to kind of put them around the sketch, or put them around the layout to find out exactly where I want them. And then I'm just going to move my pictures around a little bit to make sure that they're where I want them. I go through my embellishments, just looking to see what I have and what I might want to be using. I want to stick to kind of that the green scheme, knowing that there's some blue in my stickers that I can use as well. And I don't want to kind of add any other colors except for I will add some gold in there to get more of the vibe of the sketch. So I have these Paper Studio golf balls, and I know I'm going to be using those. So I cut that out and put them on the layout where I think I'm going to be using them. However, one of the clusters ends up not getting the golf ball and the gold circle. So cutting out 3 circles for each of the clusters, placing them around, and then just figuring out what I want in my clusters and where they should be, and moving them around to see the best places for them. So I know I want one of these stickers in each one of the clusters. So I take out the shoe and I'm like, I start thinking too much. Like, can I put the shoe in the left upper corner because it looks like it's floating? And then I think, well, here's the golf bag and the golf club bag. It's the same situation. It's going to be floating up there. So, and really with the gold circles and everything should be kind of grounded up there. So I shouldn't really have to worry that much about that it looks floating. We'll have to review at the end and you tell me if it looks like anything's floating. I think I've got it pretty well grounded, hopefully, maybe. Cross your fingers. So the bigger piece does go on the bottom. And then I have this other Karen Foster paper that if truth be told, if I hadn't had this sketch, I probably would have used more of this paper. But the way it turns out is I really use it more for color as a matte under the photo, since it's got all that green going on, and it brings some of the blue in. And then just to separate that paper from the green grass, I make another little mat of this black paper to give it some definition around between those two papers. So I slowly trim that up apparently. And I think there's like a 7.25 or a 7.5 in on this trimmer that when you get to that spot, it's in the crease of the something of the arm coming out, so it's hard to see. So that's why I think I had such a hard time with trimming that up, but it did. Looks like it worked well. So get the picture down with my ATG, get the layers down. I know that's where I want to start because that's pretty much done and set, and based on where that lands, everything else will fall into place around it. So I think I'm going to get so once I get the photo down, which is interesting, because you have to take into account there you go, the golf ball. So probably in the end, the golf ball shouldn't have been quite so big, because once I get that glued down, I go, I don't have any room left for my other little photos. So I used my wet glue to get the golf ball down and into place. And again, on the top there, I know I'm going to have a little cluster so it can overlap and it won't look too funky there. And that's where I start with laying my embellishments down in that cluster in that corner. And I like to kind of, oh, this was really stuck good to the backing, but I like to kind of place things at the same time, if that makes sense, to get the full effect while I'm gluing them down. This is where I'm going to figure out, you don't have any room for these photos. Um, so again, it looks like the sketch, but it doesn't look like the sketch. That middle photo gets tucked. There's just really no other way around it. With Jillian being right there, you can't overlap the photo at all. So I think it still looks great. It could have been a, I don't know how big that is, 2x2 photo. Maybe it's a 3. But anyway, it all works. I do need to remember that I need some room for the cluster on the bottom. So I'm trying to figure that out at the same time. And still messing around with those photos. Make sure they're in the right spot. This was a day, and I think it was in October, November. It was happened to be a warm day in Wisconsin where we could get out and golf. It was fun. And my husband and I have not had golfed with Jillian and Nick, so that was fun too. Someplace close to our house, easy to get 9 holes in, and the weather was nice. This is a cut apart I have from a very super old time ago, so I'm just trimming that up a little bit better. Getting that down. The name of the golf course was at the bottom there, I believe, and I wasn't feeling bad about covering up because I know the name of the golf course, so I just covered that up on the bottom. So yeah, that photo ends up looking like a 3x3 as well, doesn't it? It's okay. Whatever works. And then that big sticker gets tucked in the bottom. I do forget to put the gold sticker circle in the bottom as well as the golf ball, but I mean, in the end, I don't think you miss it. If you miss it, you'll have to tell me. But it all works. And once I'll get some more gold down, which will tie it all together. So it was kind of like, so I'm getting these clusters down, and I really didn't figure out how am I going to do in the sketch. You'll see those stars, and then it has those kind of waves coming from the stars, and I hadn't really thought that through as to what I was going to do until I think I did find those gold stars, and I was like, ooh, I've got an idea. Because I have gold washi up at the top there that's just peeking off frame there. And there, here we go. So the washi is going to be those, mine are going to be straight, obviously. But it just gives some interest to the page. And I even swooped it a little bit on the bottom. So I wanted to get them as far apart as I could. So, but I think that's a fine finishing touch that I don't always think about. I'm more of, I guess, what you would call traditional or very simple scrapbooker, but things like that and mixed media, enamel dots, things like that are all those little finishing pieces to the page that I don't always think about. So I really like the sketch to give me a little more pizzazz, a little more oomph to my layout that normally I would skip right by and be like, yep, done. And look how nice it makes that cluster be part of the whole page. Then it really brings it in and makes it there for a reason and stands out. So I really love that part of it. Then I have some clear Nouveau, and I'm going to try these. Now I got to tell you, on black paper they don't, I mean, it looks like a black enamel dot, but it looks like it's just matching right in. But I really like the effect of these clear ones more probably on a pattern paper or with different colors. And they're really opaque right now, but they do dry really clear, which I think you'll see in the finishing photos. Make sure you check the playlist below and you can see what everybody else is doing with this sketch as well as all the other sketches from the other days. I appreciate you watching and subscribing. I hope you have a fabulous day, and I will see you again tomorrow for another sketch with Christy's 30 Days of Sketches.